So, real life. Hello, everyone. I'm just checking again. Yes, real life. And I'm just going to. Yes. So,
Excellent.
welcome.
It's been a while.
So much has happened again.
Oh,
And behind the scenes,
you
we could say that.
know, if things weren't happening, it wouldn't really be life now, would it?
Oh, yeah. And that's why I was thinking because so much is happening, and I think we are cleaning so much physically and spiritually. I thought that what we're going to talk about today, which is rules for being human, I thought it would be something that would help us take or have bigger perspective on what's happening here. And for those who haven't read those rules yet, I sometimes use it when I teach. Yeah, they make you see life differently. I would say that. What do you think on that?
When I read through them, the thing that I thought of is in every class that I go through in college, there's a syllabus, something that tells you, hey, in this class, we're going to learn about this. You know, if you're going to be learning about making chocolate, you want to know, okay, what are the first steps? If you're going to learn about making a recipe, you want to read through the recipe first. And I feel like so often we don't have the recipe. We don't have the syllabus. And that's one of the things that I really like about this topic and this document that you are going to show here in a bit. It gives us some rules.
And once you read them, you're like, oh, why didn't I think of that?
Uh-huh.
And I'm
And
going to
it's
share them.
it's so much what Bob Proctor says. There are so many things that should be taught in school that just aren't.
Yes. And this is why we're here and we're learning together. And so I'm not going to project them during all the session, but let's talk about the first one and most obvious one, but so important. You will receive a body. You may love it or hate it, but it will be yours for the duration of your life on Earth. Hmm.
And one of the best things that I ever learned about it is your body is nothing more or less than a recording instrument for your experience. You can I personally believe that we sat up in the pre-Earth life, whatever you want to call it. We read all of the books about how to do karate, but we couldn't learn it. We couldn't actually do it until we had a body. So you can
And
know everything about karate, but until you do it, you don't actually know it.
you don't know how it feels like. And often we take it so for granted, I would even say. And like you say, the body has all the data in a way, and
Mhm.
we tend to overlook the signals because when something is really happening to you in life, your body will be the first to show you if it's either good or bad or because of
Mhm.
it has its language.
Yeah. Unfortunately, one of the first things that most religions teach you is to hate your body. Um, don't don't enjoy sex, don't enjoy food, don't enjoy um, leisure time. Use your body, abuse your body. All of the drugs and everything uh, are there to help you numb your feelings. They're there to help you quiet your experiences because, as psychics, as empaths, we're not taught how to use and understand our bodies. So we try and use alcohol to numb them. We use nicotine to try and get out of them. We're always trying to circumvent this beautiful blessing that's the first rule.
I was about to say it's not really comfortable having a body, you know? It's sometimes, and this is why we do all we do, like the addictions and things like this, because it's, doesn't feel good, but then we have the power to make it good and to feel good, but we just have to listen. And my gosh, it's so hard sometimes.
It is. And there's a way to take care of your body, but you have to be willing to learn. You have to be willing to listen to it. My body tells me you do not drink black tea after noon or you don't sleep. Oh, okay. So I can enjoy the stimulating effect of the tea in the morning, but if I break that rule, but when you realize that your body is a blessing, you attack it differently. You attack the rest of the learning differently.
You actually try to understand it and to communicate with it. And the more I advance and the more I learn about myself, uh, I'm willing to listen. And there are things I wasn't even aware. I wasn't, for example, yesterday I realized that in some situation I would automatically block and have like, not butterflies or really like something heavy in my stomach.
Mhm.
And for the first time I stopped and I said, "Oh, what am I feeling here?" And I just say, "Okay." And I said, okay, you're safe. And this is also thanks to one of the videos of Natalie Bouchard. And I was like, okay, you're safe. And actually, our body protects us. And but now, as an adult, you are here to say, okay, you don't need to be protected. Well, I'm here to protect you. And this will smooth your nervous system. Actually, the body will listen. And it's so simple, actually.
It is. And and so tuning into that becomes then part of the experience, part of the lesson. I remembered I'm 51 years old, and so I've since I was probably about 40, 45, I learned that if I eat too much chocolate at one time, I get a headache. And I get this severe migraine. And so I had to learn the groups of drugs that would help me to calm down my headache. And then I had to learn, then I read a book, The Gift of Fear, in which they said, pay attention to your body. It's trying to communicate with you. And so I started listening to my body and saying, okay, what am I doing just before I have these headaches? Oh, I'm eating a lot of sweets and candies and carbohydrates. Maybe I need to cut those out. And so, and then I did another physical therapy where they taught me to do some stretches. I haven't had a major headache for a couple of weeks now. And it's like, wow, I'm learning so much about life through this body. Don't overeat. Don't do it.
You see, it's actually quite simple, and we we don't pay
Yep.
attention to what's obvious. See,
Yeah.
and then what happens? Let's see. Number two, you will learn lessons. Do you want to read number two? I think you have them on your phone.
Yeah, I have that right here. So you will be presented with lessons. You are enrolled in a full-time informal school called Life. Each day in this school, you will have the opportunity to learn lessons. You may like the lessons or hate them, but you have designed them as part of your curriculum. Okay, now there are two big things there. I chose the curriculum. I chose the curriculum before I came down.
Often we don't want to admit that. And the first time we hear, yeah, but you've chosen what you're going through, we're like, hell no, I'm not that. I couldn't do that to myself. And actually, it's not to, it's for yourself. But takes a long time to go into the system and to say, to have that aha moment, you know?
Well, so a little bit of personal history. I was fired 5 times from professional level, life-sustaining careers. I was fired 5 times. And finally, on the fifth time, I looked around and said, okay, something is not right. I need some guidance here. And so I went and I got career counseling and found out just one little thing. I like people. I like people, but I'm in an industry that doesn't deal well with people. And so as soon as I figured out what it was that was missing, all of a sudden my career took off. I've been able to be happy in my job since then because I've always taken people into account. Rather than fighting with my boss, now I try to understand her.
See? And how many times sometimes do we need, like you were talking about the migraines, the chocolate, how many times do we have to relive the same experience to understand and to actually pay attention? And right now on Earth, what's happening is that those cycles will have less and less time. It's time for pattern recognition. And you can no longer ignore the body, your soul, what you'll have to do. And so it will take less time. Normally, it's time for, okay, not repeating again and again and again. No?
Yeah. And you know, you used a word there that I like a lot more than lesson. You used the word experience. You're going to have experiences that you signed up for. Man, oh, I don't know why I signed up for the jealousy, the anger, the job loss, but I am grateful for those experiences because they led me to this, to personal development, to being able to talk about life from a different level.
Hmm. I would even say to awareness, no, evolution, and yeah. And this, what you're saying, it's funny because it's straight to the third one. There are no mistakes. You say experiences, only lessons, only
Mhm,
experiences.
mhm.
And so I'm going to read the full sentence. Growth is a process of experimentation, a series of trials, errors, and occasional victories. The failed experiments are as much a part of the process as the experiments that work. Sorry, I had in the right sentence here. So
Yep.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So what would you say about that?
Well, this is exactly, there is no mistake, there is no failure actually. And what you think is a mistake at first is actually life guiding you towards your path. And as long as you resist and think like this shouldn't happen, this shouldn't be happening to me, well, it's going to get harder and harder, the experiences. And so I've learned to let go. It's not an easy thing to do, and I'm still learning. No, it's every day, you know? Mm,
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think I can't remember. It was somebody who said the longer you resist, the longer it lasts. So over here in the US, we have these big plains and we have these buffalo. And the buffalo, when they would see a rainstorm coming, they would actually run towards the rainstorm. And because they would run towards the rainstorm, they would actually run through the rainstorm. And they'd get a little bit wet, yes. But then you've got domestic cows, and the domestic cows out on these plains would try and run away from the rainstorms. And so they would actually, the rainstorms would be on top of them for a much longer period of time. So these domesticated cows then would get much more wet than the buffalo because the buffalo ran into the experience. They didn't resist it, they met it. The cows tried to resist, and so they ended up staying in the rainstorm longer.
It's funny because at the same time, I was thinking about education sometimes slowing you down because,
Oh, mhm.
yeah, rather go ahead, dive in the experience, and you will learn so much more, and it will, yeah, last less time. Just as when you have that physical feelings, your body, you is starting to sense those signals. Well, don't ignore them because the longer you ignore them and you want to pass around them, no, it will last longer. And if you just
Yep.
say, okay, what is here? Am I sad? Am I angry? Do I feel betrayed? Why? And actually, then, yeah, cry or do whatever you want, and boom, this shall pass too.
Yeah. If you don't cry, the longer you fight the crying, I'm not going to try, I'm not going to cry, the longer you're actually already crying.
Yes. And you'll feel exhausted even more. Hmm.
And to me, that's the grief process. I lost a home. I need to sit and I need to take the time to actually be angry and sad and hurt and I to negotiate. And then finally, when I'm done with that, I can accept. I can accept that I lost that house that I absolutely loved, or the marriage, or the family member, or the relationship, because it's gonna go.
Naturally.
It's yeah. The question is, am I gonna fight it, or am I going to experience it?
And how many times do we avoid sorrow and grief, like you're saying? And often, yeah, because you say it's not accepted, and then it's transmitted generation after generations to, you can still feel it, and
Mhm.
you can have, yeah, yeah, it's so, it's better to express it, I would say.
Yes,
And so
it's better to learn the lesson so you don't have to keep repeating it because you will.
yes. See, I didn't resist the cat wanting to join the session. No.
In fact, that's number 4. A lesson is repeated until it is learned. So the experience is repeated until you process it. A lesson will be presented to you in various forms until you have learned it. When you have learned it, you can then go to the next lesson or experience.
Hmm. And so often you think, okay, lesson learned. And actually, even years later, when you think, okay, I'm healed, well, no,
Mhm.
even if there's no such thing as healing, because you already are the healed version, you just need to open to it. And yeah, sometimes you have to open it again because actually now there is a depth that you can see and that you were not able to see before. And that's
Yeah,
why sometimes it's just necessary to be repeated again.
it is. And it's actually healthy. I hear so many of my coaching clients, why do I have to feel this again? Well, because you have developed, you have grown, and now you can go deeper into this experience and extract more information, more experience that you couldn't before because you were so damn shallow.
Yeah. Well,
I don't
in a
say
way,
that, but
but in a way, Earth made you shallow because first you had to learn. It's not easy, all those emotions and that density here.
yep,
So you had to have like a shelf or something to protect you, you know? And
yeah.
then you can go to the core and take away like you peel it off like the onion. You have that image of the onion that you can peel off, and with each layer you can
Hmm.
go deeper. Mm.
Yeah. And one of my teachers explained that imagine it was an inverse onion. You started at the center and you took away layers from the inside so that eventually you can get as big as you truly are. Because right, so often we get caught in this tiny, tiny place. When we're eternal creator beings having a temporary physical experience. That's a lot.
You're talking about the infinity, and yes, it's infinite. And this is lesson 5. Learning lessons does not end. So beautiful.
Mhm.
There is no part of life that does not contain lessons. If you are alive, there are lessons to be learned. And that's also why sometimes we can hear that, yeah, that person passed away early. Well, maybe that person has finished that school. She has other things to do somewhere else, depending on your belief system. But yeah,
Yeah.
there's nothing to learn anymore.
I only took a bachelor's degree. I didn't want a master's degree. Or some people only wanted an associate's degree. They had one, or here's my biggest thing. I had one extra credit that I needed to get in order to finish my degree. One credit, one class, and it was only offered at this time of the year. So I had to come down for a short period of time, earn that credit, and then I can go somewhere else. Take a different class, take a different course.
Yes. It's only difficult for those who stay here. And if you don't have that bigger perspective, this is why I love those rules because it helps us see the difficult situations differently. Because, of course, you're going to have sorrow, you're going to be sad. But yeah, but if you look at it differently, it's easier.
Well,
Yeah.
and what if the person who's left wanted to experience grief and sorrow as part of their coursework. And
Yeah,
the only way they're gonna experience that is if they lose somebody who was only here for a couple of credits.
absolutely. The perfect scheme, perfect organization.
It's like it's planned and organized and it's being done right.
Mm-hmm. It is right, and sometimes it doesn't feel right. That's yeah.
That's true. And you know, so number 6, there is no better than here. That that goes along with heaven might not be better than earth. It's just a difference of focus. What are you learning? Where are you learning? How are you reading? The pre-earth life, where we were reading, I mean, we read the Akashic records, we read all there is to know about karate, but we couldn't do anything with it. Here, you practice karate, your muscles hurt. Oh my goodness, this is so terrible. You get bruises, you get broken bones. But when um when your there has become a here, you will simply obtain another there that will again look better than here. That's why we are going to continue learning, is because we always want more. The eternal part of us seeks more. If I've read all about karate, now I want to experience karate. If I want to experience karate, I want to be good at karate. If I'm good at karate, then I want to teach karate.
And this makes me think of what Bob Proctor says, like you're either growing or not, or you see, because we are creatures of evolution, desire. And either you're following what's inside or you're just like dying. That's why he says that most of people die at 25, yes, 25 years old because they have like achieved what education or what we think is life, what it should be. And then we stop. They forget the dream, the biggest desire, the biggest
Mhm.
desires that they have. And actually, you can, when you follow your desire, it's endless. It's, I want this. And then, you know, for example, right now I'm teaching, coaching, and I'm working on my other goal, a new branch. And yeah, I never thought I would do that, but it's just steps along the way. It shows up when you're acting on your first desire, and then a whole other world, yeah, comes into action.
Well, Bashar talks about follow your excitement, follow your passion, follow what makes you feel happy. And it's true. It's never about the achievement of the goal. It's about the journey that gets you there and the development of the person who is able to be there.
And along this road, it's about the journey, but let me tell you, to me, it's about the hardships that you overcome on the journey. Because if it were easy all the time, there would be no rewards, to doing following
Mhm.
your desires. Because yes, you're gonna become someone else, you're gonna grow, and you're not gonna stay the person you were before that experience. And it's like you said, it's opening up layer by layer because the person you want to be cannot, well, there are some, I would say, layers that cannot be with you at that other level. And
Yeah.
this is why, yeah, you have to go through it.
Well, and with the onion experience, with the onion example, if you're in the center, you have to get rid of some of those layers in order to expand to that next level. You literally cannot get there with who you are. You have to develop. You have to change. You have to let go of stuff. I
Absolutely.
mean, I love my books, But one of the best experiences I ever had was when I had to get rid of 29 things for 9 days. I got rid of so many things that I had just been holding on to, and my life evolved when I let go of them.
Well, often because it can be physical, and this is a beautiful comparison. It's you have some weight on your shoulders or in your life, and you cannot take with you that weight, and you have to find ways to let it go. And accept also the time that is necessary, because right now, for example, I was talking about that time on the earth, people are cleaning, I get they're getting lighter, but for that, you need time, you need sometimes isolation, and uh,
Mhm.
yeah, being alone is one part of seeing things too, you know.
Being alone is essential because it solidifies the experiences or the lessons that you have. But and at the same time, because we are built for relationship, and that relationship will often show us where we need to change.
Which is a perfect transition to number 7. Others are merely mirrors of you. You cannot love or hate something about another person unless it reflects something you love or hate about yourself. And
Mhm.
this one is pretty heavy because when you realize that, and because when you're not aware of that, when you criticize a trait of personality about someone, you're so enraged sometimes. And then when you realize, my gosh, it's because I cannot stand that part of myself that is just like that person. It's not something you love.
And you know, s- I work with a book club every week, accountability group. And one of the members was saying, well, I'm so mad at my coworker because they are always doing this. And I said, okay, where is the principle that you see that you are doing that? Oh, well, I'd never do this. I haven't done that forever and ever. Um, okay. I listen to you and you do those things. You talk about those things. You talk about people. You talk about parents. You talk about this. So you're not doing exactly the same thing, but the principle is there. You, my daughter's a prime example. She doesn't like her in-laws because they're too controlling. Well, that's because she's a control freak. She wants to be in control. She doesn't want somebody else to be in control. And when she acknowledged that, all of a sudden, my in-laws aren't so bad. And you know what? I'm a control freak, and I can live with that.
I can relate. But, it's precious to have people that are able to tell you, and because um, often people are not ready to hear that. And when people tell them the truth about themselves or a perception of themselves, well, it's hard, and realize, well, you criticize this, but you actually do the same thing. And
Yeah.
realizing, yeah, when you realize it can be rough.
So here's another thing that I would like to point out. one of the ways that we numb ourselves is we criticize and then we say, they're terrible. And there's just nothing that can be done about them. And this is terrible and that's terrible. And those things over there are terrible. And there's nothing good and everything's bad. And this is just terrible, 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 terrible. And so we actually add a layer into the onion and constrict ourselves so that we don't have to go out and experience life. So that, well, if everything's terrible, then I might as well sit in my living room and do nothing. I won't meet people. I won't have experiences. I'll just hide.
Hmm. It's actually that comfort zone. Yeah, it resembles, yeah, really that comfort zone. And it makes me think of that triangle, with the savior, the perpetrator, and the victim.
Mm.
And what you're describing is actually, okay, so I'm a victim. It's like this. I cannot do anything about that. It's that person's fault and blah, blah, blah. And you wait for a savior that, yeah, will and will not come. But then you will start another cycle. And right now
Well,
we are getting out of this.
and one of the things that was the hardest, was the most mind-blowing, is that I am all three. I am the victim, but I am also the savior. I am the God I have been waiting for. I am the hero that I've been waiting for. I am the person who has caused me this pain. Um, because Delphine, if you tell me I look silly today, if you tell me you don't like my shirt, I'm the one who has to let that in. I am the perpetrator. And only when I act the perpetrator can I then become the victim.
And this is why humanity has such a hard time today because it has led its power to the external world. We think that the government is the savior, that our parents are the saviors, that, the boyfriend is the savior. But hello, no, you have to make a decision, and it's the decision that will end the cycle. Like you said, you made the decision. No, Delphine's remark, it's not gonna hit me, it's not gonna touch me. She can say whatever she wants because I love my shirt.
Yeah, that is simply Delphine's opinion. And so, in this way, you make of your life. What you make of your life is up to you. Rule number 8. You have all the tools and resources you need. What you make of them is up to you. The choice is yours. Are you going to be the victim? Are you going to be the perpetrator? Are you going to be the savior? Are you going to solve the problem? Or are you going to perpetuate it? That's your choice.
And God knows that today, what's really difficult is that the majority is stuck in, well, we like it here. It's not really comfortable. And we're going to stay here because changing is just, it's too much. It's too fearful. Becoming someone I've never been before. Oh, and of course, I understand that. And it is really difficult. And yeah, you will need tools and resources, and you have them all inside of you. But like you say, the first step is, yeah, it's up to you, and realizing it's, yeah, only you can save yourself.
So I don't know if you've ever heard this statistics, but there are something like 500,000 hours of content uploaded to YouTube every day.
Mm.
So, just like what we're doing, we are presenting a possibility. We are giving someone an opportunity to hear, hey, you're not alone, you're not hopeless, you have power inside of you. The question is, are you going to watch something like this, or are you going to watch another stick figure drawing, computer animation, blowing up anything? I mean, literally, you can spend all day on YouTube and never run into the same video twice.
Hmm.
Anything you want to know about, you can learn about cooking, you can learn about karate, tai chi, exercise. What are you going to do? The tools are all here.
And this is why I love what we do because everybody can do that. Everybody can have access, for example, to those rules, but it's the way you do things. And my life has been changed because there was one person who said something at that moment. I don't know that person, and it's not a million hit video. I don't care. I just needed to hear that at that right moment, you know? And
Mhm.
just like this, you can realize and say, okay, it's my life. It's up to me, and I'm going to do whatever it takes.
Yeah, yeah. That's it right there. So what is rule number 9?
And yeah, I didn't even realize, but I alluded to it just before. Your answers lie inside you. All you need to do is look, listen, and trust. And gosh, I think that's one of the most difficult because we're not taught to listen to ourselves and to not definitely not trust ourselves. We have to trust the external world. You have to trust your parents. You have to trust everybody but you know, because you don't know. You're a child. You cannot know. You don't have the diploma, the credentials, or whatever. And until we realize that, uh, I'm not saying diplomas are not good, you know, but it's because you have the will, because you have the desire, the passion that you will give life to what's in those credentials because you have a certain way of doing things. That is your real and true power. And everything you need when you need to make a decision, you want to have a career change or you want to, even a relationship, even your friends, you have to make hard decisions sometimes. It's only inside of you. I heard today, you have to become congruent, horizontal. You have to listen to the inner voice and act based on that.
Oh yeah. Well, and that goes along with Bashar's follow your excitement. It goes along with Abraham Hicks, follow the vibration, because you are a frequency. I am a frequency. When we align with our frequency, we are on track. We're doing what we're supposed to be doing. And, you know, I'm just like you. My teachers told me, you're wrong. You shouldn't do this. My religious community told me, you're wrong. You shouldn't do this. The one of the things that amazes me is that the comic strips told me, you're wrong. You shouldn't do this. And so I learned those lessons so well that I layered up that onion and now and I was caught inside of it. And it was a really small space. I am grateful that I had, just like you, I'm grateful that I had an addiction so that I had a reason to look up on the internet, how do I get rid of an addiction? And the guy told me, meditate. Oh, meditation. What's that? That's not something I'm familiar with. So I did a dive into meditation. Meditation led me to personal growth and personal development. Personal growth and personal development led me to multi-level marketing. Multi-level marketing led me to more personal growth and personal development. And then I began to realize how it actually applies to me. And all of a sudden, my life changed.
And And when you say that, regarding the different tools and steps that happen, I think one of the most important thing is only do what resonates with you, because out there you're going to find people telling you do this, do that, and that's the only way. And actually, no, 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 that way worked for that person. For them that was faster. And whatever, do what feels right for you.
Yep.
That's all.
Yeah. You are so correct, because Tony Robbins is my mentor. He's my teacher. He's great. But there's a lot of stuff that he teaches that I am not at a level that I can apply, or it just doesn't feel right. Mary Morrissey, oh, I love that woman. Oh, she is so good. So much of what she teaches resonates with me, but there are some things that I'm not at that place. Tapping with Nick Ortner, Peggy McCall, Bob Proctor, uh, Rhonda Rhine. Oh my goodness, they've all got these gems that, oh, I love them. Abraham Hicks, Bashar, Cryon. Oh my goodness, each one of them is so fantastic and they are so wonderful. And each one of them is like, what in the world? How do I apply that?
But that's the beauty in the infinity and the oneness we all form. And this is why what we are doing is as important as what anyone else does, because the way we say it is going to be different than how others are going to say it. And tomorrow we'll hear something else. We'll get inspired because everyone
Oh, yeah.
inspires everyone. And this is how we grow because, yeah, some people are not going to match with other people. And yeah, that's just how it is.
Well, it's just like Dr. Cherie Carter-Scott. She's spot on. We are going to learn. But I don't like the way that she uses lessons. I would prefer to use experiences. Does that make her wrong? No, but I have to adapt it to myself, or the language won't mean anything to me.
Absolutely. Yes, it has to match your frequency. And so you can make it sing, like we said another
Yeah.
time.
So, and this brings us back to lesson 10. And this is the most frustrating and yet also the most true. You will forget all of this at birth. Throughout the process of life, you will have opportunities to remember if you choose.
Hmm.
And for me, just like with the job loss, it's not a job loss. I was fired. I was straight out violently kicked out the door. The pain had to become great enough that I was willing to change.
And this is also another way to look at suffering because I had the same experience. I had to change my life completely 5 years ago, and I was crying on the
Hmm.
floor, and I couldn't get up in the morning anymore. And I said, okay, I need to change. And of course, it was so painful at the time. And today, had I not made that decision to change, well, Neil, we wouldn't be here talking on the internet like this. Yeah, so it had
Hmm.
to happen. Suffering, and actually, suffering is how you remember, you get back to, hey, what's happening here? Who am I? What am I here for? Where is
Hmm.
my joy?
Yeah. No, I totally and completely agree with you. Um, if if I had not lost my jobs, had an argument with a leader in my church, stepped away from my church, I would never have been able to then accept the church. I would never have been able to accept the disowned parts of myself that kept getting in the way of me having a successful career. Like I said, I'm 51 years old and I'm going out for a master's degree. I want more. I want to learn. I want to grow. But I recognize now I'm now I understand that piece of paper is just permission to start learning, to start experiencing it anew. It's not a piece of paper that tells me how much I'm worth.
And the one person who's gonna uh change everything is you. It's just when I teach English, but the grammar, everybody can go to and take a grammar book, and but the way
Mhm.
I do it is a bit different, or even, it's and the way you're gonna do it is gonna be so different too. And we need everybody. We need the differences in the world.
That's really true. And because you have taught me, I'm not one of your um, English students.
No,
I'm
definitely.
we talk about other things, but because of what you teach and how you've taught, I've actually learned how to study Spanish. I've learned how to study psychology. I've learned how to study other things because of what you have taught, because of who you are as a teacher, as a person. Um, and so that to me, how in the world would I have ever had the opportunity to learn from Delphine, who lives in France, if not for this opportunity to meet over the internet? We're gonna forget the all of these things, but we get to choose how we're gonna remember.
Hmm. And the internet, I've heard today, it's like the inner net. Today we're connected to that. Yeah, it's so beautiful.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's how we remember as a whole, the one consciousness, conscience.
Yeah,
Mm.
it does. It brings us all together. And, to me, I am so grateful that we get to learn from people around the world. I have still never seen Bob Proctor in person.
You
He's
can
dead,
connect again. Yeah, through spirit, you can.
but I'm still learning from him.
Oh,
The
yeah.
books he's written, the videos he's done, the legacies that he's left. I still learn from him all the time.
And on that, I think we can be grateful because this is also through one of the Bob Proctor teachings that I discovered that text, actually.
Oh,
And so grateful because this still guides me every day. Yes. So,
yeah.
what do you
Wow.
say? We can
I
stop
say we are
here?
blessed, and I'm
Yeah,
grateful that we are here.
me too. And until next time, I don't know when the time is right, we will see you again.